I brought this idea to Chris, and that turned into not just visiting one island, but to visit 3 islands.
Going around and seeing people with that same vision of like one Caribbean, we have everything we need here. It's not really just us here. It's like, it was very encouraging.
It's like they didn't feel dread. You know, people think about AI in like any workspace and think, oh, I'm going to lose my job. But I think most of them actually felt hope. Like they saw how they were going to be able to take better care of people and even make more money.
She heard that we were in tech and software, and she closed the door and sat down and said, tell me more.
And there's no magic over there that isn't over here. So if we just figure out how to just make our thing work, we will be in a better position.
The fact that you say you're going to do it and you do it, that for me was just like, damn, that's crazy. We did this from scratch, you know.
Part of the emergency room is managing logistics and workflow, because it life and death situations through the door majority of the time.
Everybody is aware of what tech can do for them, and I think they're very excited about having someone they can talk to locally to help to solve these problems for them.
AI is pushing the human limits of technological evolution, and as a Caribbean, I don't think we should be left behind.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Victoria Gregory. I'm here with my brethren them. We're here to have some conversations. This is our new podcast, Built for Us. Just a little reasoning with friends. We have our company. We want to give a little insight to what's been going on, letting you guys know what we're about, what we're heading to, what the future is like, where we started, just to give a few insights. So, gentlemen, please introduce yourself.
I'm Joel.
I'm Franco.
And I'm Chris.
All right, so I want to start the conversation off just asking, I know you guys just toured the Caribbean, letting the Caribbean know about the company. So please give the audience and myself, because I haven't heard about the trip yet, a little insight to what happened, how it went, if people were interested. Do you see where the business can scale throughout the Caribbean? Let's know what's going on. Who wants to start?
All right, so I think I brought the idea to Chris one afternoon. I was at a...
Oh, for our listeners, this is Franco. Franco is speaking for the listeners.
For the listeners, right? But yeah, so I had been to a sit-down session where the Prime Minister of St. Vincent was talking to a group about his journey as a leader and his vision for the Caribbean. And I had the opportunity to sit with him for a few minutes and just talk. And he said, whenever I have the time, I should just visit the island. And I brought this idea to Chris, and that turned into not just visiting one island, but to visit 3 islands and turn it into a trade mission where we highlighted what we can bring from the Caribbean perspective to our neighbors.
So you said you guys went on a tour. Which other islands did you visit other than St. Vincent?
We went to St. Vincent, Barbados, and Trinidad.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So how was the reception in the other islands, you'd say?
Well, I guess we can start with each island. So we did them in order: St. Vincent, then Barbados, and Trinidad. So, Joe and I did a lot of the groundwork there.
Yeah, so we started in St. Vincent. We got a lovely cab driver that gave us a tour. Apparently she knew everyone there. So it was really good. I think our first stop was to stop by the Prime Minister's office and try and book an appointment. And we settled in. So the first day we hit the road and we went to a doctor that was, I think, close to retirement. And she kind of just gave us full list, very open about what her situation was, what the situation is for the rest of the doctors, and who we should go and see. So it was very well received by her, and she was very open to helping us. What we found is that everywhere was really open to hearing from us, seeing what we had. I think that we had secured one doctor from there. A doctor, I don't know if we should. No, okay. Yeah, so we were successful in getting a practice and onboarding them and like seeing their entire flow. So I think St. Vincent for us was a really good learning ground as to finding out what the experience of other Caribbean doctors are and what they're very comfortable with using.
So, based on your view, you'd say that you see a need for the other doctors see a need for it in the other Caribbean countries for sure.
Yeah, I think that people definitely want to see more patients as much as they can. I think that they are, everyone knows that the health system isn't the easiest thing to manage. There are a lot of people, very few doctors. So I think everyone was excited to see a solution from the Caribbean as well that was built with them in mind to help ease that flow of patients and to be there to kind of communicate with you and find out what your exact niche needs are. But that was a lot of it as well, learning what their flows and processes were like, and then being able to see us and say, okay, we can talk to you. And when we give our feedback, this is actually going to be reflected in what we are able to use to help us on a daily basis.
Okay. I know that persons heard the onboarding experience and everything. And how long would you say it would take for someone to be onboarded, the process for them to be onboarded onto the software of Elecare?
Elecare is, we built it, like Joe had said, with the Caribbean in mind. So it's an EHR that comes from the Caribbean perspective, and we built it to be easily onboarded. So each day as we hit the ground running, we opened the conversation by showing what we had. And once they saw how to use the software, that pretty much was the onboarding process. That same demo, which took about 5 to 10 minutes, was the onboarding process. From there, once you created your account, you're just repeating the same process over and over. It's just you and the interaction between, so it's provider with patient. So it's just you delivering that care over and over again.
And we know that the Caribbean isn't very tech savvy per se. How do you find the reception with the user interface with the doctors?
Well, one of the key things is that, and the genius behind it was something that Chris had managed to develop, was the chatbot. So there's a chatbot within the EHR platform that lives there that helps you to see the patients. It's an assistant that's there with you. So you can use it in shorthand by just typing in shorthand, or you can have dictation where you can just listen in on the conversation between you and the patient and write your notes for you. That part of it is one click. It's not a many click process. It's just click one button and you focus on delivering care. So we find that having that user interface and simplifying the whole process was very well received.
Love that. What I also want to find out, I haven't heard anything from Christopher. From a developer's point of view, how do you feel the reception was to the product that you guys are pushing, Elecare?
I feel like people felt optimistic. I think we're in a situation, healthcare is something that is dear to everybody. Everybody's kind of gone through something in relation to it. And the idea of being able to provide better care faster and without as much burnout, I think all of the doctors and practice managers, anybody who got a chance to look at the software, felt like, and it's like they didn't feel dread. People think about AI in like any workspace and think, oh, I'm going to lose my job. But I think most of them actually felt hope. Like they saw how they were going to be able to take better care of people and even make more money because they're going to see more patients without as much paperwork, and they don't have to waste room on storage and so on and so forth. Like one place had concerns about their clerks going into the file area because they had to go up on ladders now to retrieve files, and they're concerned about someone falling, getting hurt, or even if that storms or stuff come and damage those files. So optimism and hope, and I think that the fact that we came from the Caribbean and we made the effort to go and visit them, I think they could see that we cared enough to like put some skin in the game and like just go and knock on the doors and just say, hey, will you see us? And that makes me feel even more optimistic about continuing to build it.
On the tour, was it only Elecare that you guys presented to persons, or did you present the other softwares as in Phoros?
So it was a mixture, but it was definitely like 80-90% Elecare. But again, the guys did most of the footwork, so I won't, you know.
Yeah, so the Elecare opened the conversation, and when it opened the conversation on it being an HR, we segued into it being built on top of what Phoros is. And yeah, at this point, usually Joe jumps in it during this point of the demo and says,
Yeah, I think when you kind of transition from just the patient care towards the whole practice management aspect of it, we kind of get into the point of where we kind of explain how it was built on top of Forus and how Forus is really this entire solution for you to have like a one-stop shop. So I think that was another really deep selling point of the software, was that you could not just use it to see patients, but actually make the whole business process a bit smoother, following up with the clients and appointments and the accounting and just running that whole, because some of our practices actually have in-house accountants that come and run their books. So just like adding them to that organization and just having them to see those flows and not having to sit down with them and go through their books was a big conversion as well. So, and Caribbean people are entrepreneurs. So even one of our practices that we went to had a business on the side that was selling stuff out of the same practice as well. And she could see how that would really help transform that business as well. So we did have some meetings around Forus and that business aspect, and how, you know, our vision for just also empowering Caribbean businesses to really be efficient and scale. So we had even in Barbados went to a think tank and explained to them how we want to help to build, like, because there were some interns and students there. So a part of Forus is that it has a code editor in there, so kind of empowering students and developers and growing that local tech community to actually have a piece of software that will be able to empower them to build solutions for their communities. So not necessarily us having to come in and do all the work, but kind of literally just being that kind of technological backbone for everybody to kind of take something and build something for their environment, was a core part of it as well.
Okay. Well, that segued into my other question, which was to explain to the viewers what Phoros is and what Elecare is and how everybody is intertwined within each other. So Joe did just explain. So it's Phoros is really the backbone, as you would say, of the different businesses. So you can use Phoros to create your business and also help to manage your business also. All right, guys. So I want to understand how, well, I understand, but for the listeners, how did all of this start? What inspired all of this? Where did the idea come from? How? When did it start?
I think for me, I mean, I've always been interested in like building things, and I think we all grew up when technology was really expanding and the internet was expanding. So we saw a whole heap of these companies like PayPal and Microsoft and Oracle and all these companies that were getting big a long time ago, and, you know, in the Caribbean, growing up and seeing how tech became the new infrastructure for countries. This was the best thing to start building, in my opinion. For me personally, it was like, this is how we can take our country to the next level, and this is how we can bridge the gap between all the lack of infrastructure and just, I guess, resources that we have as a small island. So Force was really built on top of the vision of just Chris being a very talented developer and us just growing up in a country that basically needs everything. And, you know, it's our personal view that, you know, we have everything we have. Jamaica is huge, and the Caribbean is just like a world like footprint. And, you know, I think if we can get all that we need here, it can be very much like paradise. So like being able to have that core foundation that can really allow people to earn for themselves, like just give you something that can really see a vision.
Make Jamaica a better place, basically. So that's where it basically started to make businesses easier.
Yeah.
Understandable. When did it start? Which year did you guys say, all right, you know what, we're going to take this business thing serious. We're going to do this. Because it's not every day people get up and start companies like this and actually believe in what they're doing. So for those who don't know, how many years has it been?
years so far. I mean, officially. But
If you
you,
include a little the
Yeah.
hustles before the businesses before.
yeah, man, 'cause we were always, there was always in our circle at least like an effort to just help people be successful, like to just support each other and people who weren't in our circle but externally. So we did a bunch of different things in different areas, like in entertainment. We were always about that, and that was fun to us. You know, we get to hang out and we get to do interesting, cool stuff, and we didn't really want anything else other than to just par and do something productive and create something that would have some impact. So we've always been on this path, and then I think in 2016 we did get there, which was a ride hailing application. And though that was a hard business for us to get off of the ground, it really helped to build our reputation. So all of a sudden people were calling and saying, hey, we need who built that to build something for us, and for us, right? And then people, it became a viable business model essentially, you know, to offer our services to companies to make money, and then we take that money and essentially reinvest in the plan, which is to try and build a firmer foundation that we could spread across the region, right? So in 2017, July 2017, that's when Gizzada started, and we've just been building ever since then. I guess the current system that we have in place was also an evolution of that path, because we kept on having to redo a lot of the same things for every customer, and we realized there were some common business tools that every Jamaican small business and medium-sized business and even the big businesses are missing, you know. And it would be good if we created that common system and distributed it at a more affordable cost, so that more businesses can start, we can have more success. The businesses are more compliant, so they can pay their taxes without the overhead. You know, not all of us studied those things in school and just know it, but that doesn't mean we don't have the drive to build a business and actually start or hustle. Like, that's just in the Caribbean nature. So we wanted to abstract away a lot of that complexity and just put it into a system and say, oh, from you have an idea and from you have the energy, like you can actually go out and create something. And then all of a sudden AI came around and we could just do so much more in terms of bringing that to life. So yeah, that's all we got here.
I have one question, but I'll ask the question and then I'll answer first and then answer you guys' opinion on it. Would you say starting in 2017, so that's before the pandemic, so your experience with getting persons, you know, to change from the regular pen and paper way and trying to use technology in their business, would you say that COVID helped in propelling the business of Gizzada?
Yeah, I mean, I say that carefully, you know, but it definitely changed the attitude. And funnily enough, like, we heard the same thing in other islands. Like, we were told in Trinidad that before COVID, there was a complete non-interest. And then during COVID, like, the realization started to happen. And though in all our countries after COVID, we kind of go back to the way things were, I think especially the young people, the young professionals know that it can't stay like that. So as we see companies kind of changing generations, changing leadership, you know, those with our experiences with technology growing up are like, all right, for this to be resilient, for this to actually grow, we need to put more and better technology in it, and all the better if that technology is regionally sourced.
Because I personally remember, as you said, with Get There, when, you know, onboarding drivers and even getting persons to use the app to get a taxi was a very difficult process, changing the minds of the everyday Jamaicans and the attitude towards using technology. But I definitely have seen the change and the shift where it is not just customers for, you know, the apps, but other persons want to, as you said, widen their business scope, you know, change different scopes of their business, being able to have an online platform, being able to have e-commerce online and stuff like that. So I see where the change has become very necessary for persons. And, you know, it doesn't only keep your business local, it brings your business on an international platform. So I see the change in it after COVID. So I just wanted to find out. What about you, Joe? How do you feel about
Definitely, I think it was more of a requirement now. I think for everyone to kind of continue, it had to be done. And I think through that, people gain comfort with it. You know, there is always a lot of caution with new things. You know, people are naturally cautious, and it's not a bad thing. But I think just with the pandemic and everybody wanted to keep safe, they were forced to kind of use these things and then get acclimatized to it and really see the benefit of it. And I think, as Chris pointed out as well, it's a generational thing. So I think as more of the younger generation gets into this business class and wants to remain globally competitive, and as we move towards a more globalized Caribbean and world, people see the need to kind of be able to scale and manage, and what a practical way to do that is. And they know it's no longer a way where you have to just spend all night doing something. They know there are other ways to do things, and everybody is aware of what tech can do for them. And I think they're very excited about having someone they can talk to locally to help to solve these problems for them.
Okay, so Franco, I want to hear about your journey and how you became a part of the story also.
Well, for me, I have always had an interest in tech and where the direction that it can hold for us. I'm a medical doctor, but I love the emergency room, and a part of the emergency room is managing logistics and workflow, because it's life and death situations through the door majority of the time. And to see that translation in the future of medicine, it started with your phone call actually, where you asked if I was working privately. And I said I'm not, but I have an idea that maybe you could help me to bring to life. And you said, all right, I'll connect you to some friends, and your friends became my friends, and and that's where Elecare started, where I in essence took the idea of the logistics workflow of an A&E, not just an A&E department, but patient flow, and digitized it into what we have now, and to the point where we're seeing with AI and with the direction that the world is going, especially with healthcare, things are changing for the better, and it's nice to see that we're able to bring world-class processes from the Caribbean to the Caribbean. So that's something nice to see.
Okay. I love that. So we have 3 gentlemen here and one lovely lady that our aim, if you guys can really tell, is really just to empower, change, and uplift the Caribbean. Not just Jamaica, but the entire Caribbean. It's a regional thing that we're working on.
So Vicky, how did you get involved in all of this?
Well, how would I say? Well, it goes back. I know them from prep school. We've been friends from prep school, and you know, during our high school years, I went to boarding school, so I didn't really see them as much. But then I came back. I came to the summer school at Campion before my 5th form year, and that's how we all reconnected. And from there, you know, we've just been partying. And then I would say probably in like about my third year of university or so, I was always the one they have to pick up. And I remember how Get There started. It was like, all right, we need to find a solution for us to not have to always pick you up. And then, not that they hated me, they loved me. But it would just help, you know, everything. It would just help the flow of the logistics and everything. So Chris came up with the bright idea of, yo, let's create this thing. And then he was like, yo, you know, this can be a thing. Look at Uber and Ray. And I was like, this is crazy. And we were all, I don't remember, it was just one day we were all partying and chatting, and and then he was like, yeah, I can do this. All right. And then he did it. And it was just like, oh, wow, you did it, you know? From there, I'll just say, from that moment was just the fact that you say go and do it and you do it. That for me was just like, damn, that's crazy. You did this from scratch, you know? But it's really just the belief and just having confidence in the entire team, you know what I mean? And everybody brings something different to the table. Everybody has an important role, you know. Nobody, it's really what a team is, you know. And for me, it's really the vision behind it. It's the purpose of it was just solving problems, solving Jamaica's problems. That's really how, you know, we started talking about it before Gizzada was a thing. It was just really seeing how we can figure out little things in Jamaica. I remember one conversation specifically we were having where it was, you know, you want to figure out every niche in Jamaica where it has a problem, and you know, to see it coming into fruition, it's amazing to see. It's been an amazing journey. We've had a lot of ups and downs. We've had, you know, a lot of persons not believe in the vision, not a lot of persons that want to take the vision, you know, but you know, holding steadfast and the teamwork and the love between the group, I think, and just the honesty also, you know, the real honesty and real vision in changing Jamaica and making Jamaica a better place is the reason for me why I continue and stick with the team. I just love how we want to do better and how to uplift people and, you know, make the country a better place. So for me, I know that was a lot of yapping, but that's my perspective of it. It's more from the feelings side of things and the belief side. The work is there, the work is impeccable, but you know, their reason behind everything is really the reason that I stick around with the team. That's my 2 cents into the note.
Cool.
You, so then I'm getting it from it that you will take this and push it for the rest of the world to see.
Yes, yes, yes. People have to know how amazing this is. That's just really, you know, and from good people. It's, you know, it's really just for the impact. It's really the impact that it will make and how it will change the society and make the society easier. You know, things in our society easier, business to be smoother, things that can be easily, you know, how you have your records in one place, stuff like that, that we don't have. Turn Jamaica, turn the Caribbean into a first world country, really and truly.
And I like how you said turn the Caribbean into a first world country, because Chris had said it and we've been hearing it not just from inside the team, but external sources have been keep saying we're all one Caribbean.
Because we have the mind, you know, a lot of Caribbean people, they go to the States and they build the state. You know what I mean? The brain drain is strong in the Caribbean, you know. Why are we going to go and make other places great, you know? We make the Caribbean great. That's what I think we should do and should invest in our place, you know. So that's my vision for Gizzada for the future.
Oh,
What about you guys?
that's fun considering it's one Caribbean, and as much as you know, we reached out to people and emailed people before this trip, we don't take it for granted that we were really helped a whole lot along the way, and people didn't have to stop and take that time to hear about what we were doing. Like when we reached to Barbados, our host came and sat and kind of was at the door saying, "Hey guys, what are you really about and what you guys doing?" And she heard that we were in tech and software, and she closed the door and sat down and said, "Tell me more." And she was in the medical field as well. She sent us a whole lot of recommendations. There are other people in Barbados as well. We sat down, we came into them, said, "Hey, can we get 5 minutes of your time?" They said, "All right, yeah, maybe 2 minutes." And then we came down, they saw what we had and spent half an hour, called all their contacts. So I think, you know, we're one Caribbean and people do feel that in their core, and that, as Chris said, you know, the fact that we're from a different country and we come and we want to sit with you and hear what your problems are over here and be able to serve you guys in that way was very well received. Even in Trinidad as well, we had some contacts and friends, and they really just did a lot of the ground, helped us do a lot of the groundwork in terms of like reaching out, connecting us with people, just even outside of just Elecare for us as well. So we had some great meetings with people who operate NGOs over there who want to just utilize Caribbean tech and make sure we keep it all in this community and kind of share that vision. So like going around and seeing people with that same vision of like one Caribbean, we have everything we need here and it's not really just us here. It's like, it was very encouraging. So I think just seeing that people share that same vision of us being able to create this nice first world experience among all the islands. You know, for me, as I said personally, I think tech is a new infrastructure, and it helps people empower themselves. So I think like from a perspective of what makes people happy and what makes people have a better quality of life, these are the things that allow people to relax and say, okay, I can actually make a living for myself, and I can see the way to do that and see the way to grow it without having to have this massive investment and it's like time. So I think for me, it's just creating solutions that allow people to empower themselves. That's what I've always seen in technology. So that's my really perspective on it. My 2 cents on why I chose technology and this path and everything is to give people that opportunity to really elevate themselves.
I love that. I love that.
Chris?
Well, I'll try to be a little succinct. 'Cause I feel like for me, this is a long thing, yeah. But I have family in Trinidad, so my mom's from Trinidad. So a part of this trip that reinforced like my objectives was like seeing my family and just remembering again that we are all from the same place. We're having the same heritage and so on. Joel and I stopped in Dominica for 2 hours in a layover, made it back within 8 minutes of our flight departing. But it was a good stop because it's like beautiful, beautiful country. It's the prettiest place I've ever seen. The water is remarkable. But we stopped at a cricket match to get some lunch, and when we were leaving that cricket match, just I don't know, randomly like somebody just was like Rasta and just say, and he was like, "What going?" He's like, "Where you from?" And I asked us, and so from Jamaica, and he was really emphatic about, we're all one, we come from the same place, we have the same heritage, and telling us that we must come back and enjoy Dominica and we're welcome here and so on. And that just felt, you can imagine, like, we're here for a layover, but it's a really intense set of like hours while we're here. We're just seeing a few stuff as quickly as possible, stop at a river, go a cricket match, and we're on the way out. And the last message that we hear is, we're all one, make sure you come back. And that just felt like that was supposed to happen. 'Cause we could have just stayed in the airport, we never have to go outside and do anything at all, and we still make it back in time for the flight. And then in St. Vincent, and that guy asked me if I was Nigerian. I'm not, but it reminds me that we're all here for the same reason, and this whole community was built on the back of the same system, and we have an opportunity today to like reinvent how we operate this thing. I think we get the opportunity to go to school, to learn, to see the world. Technology open our eyes and make us kind of look across the ocean and see how our cousins are doing. And there's no magic over there that isn't over here. So if we just figure out how to just make our thing work, we will be in a better position. And technology brings down the cost and makes everything much more accessible. And then the things that are expensive, we'll have more money to do it because we're not wasting money on the things that we could just make efficient. So Gizzada to me is a opportunity to like serve the region and my community. We know that the space needs technology. We have the access to, we learn how to use the tools, and we had the opportunities to take our skills elsewhere, or take our skills and apply them here. Good thing, bad thing, there's not a lot of solutions here, so there's a lot of opportunity for us to chase. The bad thing is that we live in an environment that does not have a lot of solutions. And the same can be said for every country in the Caribbean. And, well, at least we're sure about the ones we visited. And we assume it's going to be the same as we continue to visit all of the other islands, as we intend to do over the next few months. But for me, we have the skills, and it's an opportunity for me to do something that's meaningful. And as Joel has continued to, point to, like, we want to make an impact. We want to live in a place that is better than we found it. And also, we're probably going to have family someday. So we all want them to grow up in a space that is better than we had to.
Had to grow up in, definitely. So guys, what I want for us to tell the viewers is, why are we doing this? What's the purpose of this podcast?
For me, I think it's a great way for everyone to see our dream, to hear it voiced as best as we can voice it in short bursts, so that we can share our vision It's a peek behind the curtain at what we have and what we want for everybody around us, because we believe strongly that it's one goal, one mission, and this is how we can best serve our community, and we want to keep doing that. We want to reach as many people as possible, and as Chris said, we do want to visit all the other countries, but this gives us an opportunity to at least reach the region a little bit quicker until we get there physically.
Yeah, and I think just on the back of traveling to all these places, meeting all these new people and people who share this vision, and just feeling the feeling of meeting common-minded people, I think is important for us to create a space where we share those ideas that can be easily communicated with everyone. Everyone can tune in. So other like-minded people can also find us as well. So we can continue to grow and build that community of people who want to see what we see. So like just saying what our vision is, letting people hear that, letting people comment on that, and just hoping that we can build our community off of just sharing that vision and connecting with people who also do share it.
Definitely.
I'd just like to add, because you said something that reminded me. A big part of doing this company in the first place is to set a good example. We're not sure we're going to be able to fix everything. We're going to try, but it's really to set a good example. So anybody who follows Gizzada will see how much we, spend time with students. Any opportunity we get to teach, like we make the effort and the sacrifice to show up at whoever the student's convenience is. And as we went to the different countries as well, we made those types of promises that we want to visit high schools, we want to see students, not just to give them what we know today, but also to show them that people that come from their communities can get up and build things that are at the top of the market, especially in terms of the technical quality of the things that we do provide. So, isn't me?
Showing people that it can be done.
Yeah, show people
by you, and it doesn't have to be somebody else.
Exactly. So that's why we have the podcast. It's built for us, right? Because we want everybody to realize that we are doing it, and if you want to join us, you can do that. And if you want to feel inspired to try and do it, we don't come from nothing special. We just sit down and do the work, and we reach this far.
Yeah, and part of what came up throughout all of this is that as new technologies emerge, we get to a point where we're saying we shouldn't be left behind when we move from, and our generation grew up in the era of evolving tech from dial-up to DSL to fiber fast internet now, and moving from computers that were just text to what computers are now. AI is pushing the human limits of technological evolution. And as a Caribbean, I don't think we should be left behind for sure for this one, because it's going to leave us. It's exactly that. We're just going to be left behind.
Yeah, we don't want to repeat the same mistakes or end up in the same situations. So, Caribbean people,
I know what?
exactly.
Sharing the same experience that we are.
Exactly. Caribbean people know the consequences of not having independence, and we have to make an effort to build it for ourselves.
Come on.
Well, gentlemen, on that note, for us, built for us. Thank you. And I hope to see you guys listening in on the next episode.